This is our WWE 2K24 review. I'm going to give you a high-level overview of the game so far in its current state, having the game for just over a week, and my overall thoughts and impressions. And we're going to do this on Matt's scale here, between either nah or yeah. Whether you should get the game and my opinions on it. If you guys enjoy the review, do me a favor at the end and hit subscribe and hit the like button. It goes a long way to support the channel. Let's talk about gameplay. There are new additions, but there are also some drawbacks when it comes to the gameplay mechanics this year. But there are a lot more pluses than minuses overall. If you've played 2K22 and 23, the gameplay is largely untouched. You're going to be very, very familiar with it. Control layouts are exactly the same, will feel like they have in the past, but there are tweaks and adjustments here that I feel go a long way. One of the big themes for me on gameplay this year is quality of life improvements. That's probably the biggest thing I can say about 2K24. Is it a drastic departure from years past? No. But the gameplay does some things that significantly improve it. For example, Irish whips, you can now reverse those in a match. You're gonna be able to have the new trading blows feature going back and forth. You can do that one time per match. It's a great addition. Collision detection seems better. There's a lot more polish when it comes to the overall gameplay. Some of the critiques I have for it though, again, right now for the early stages of the game, I find submissions way overpowered when it comes to the AI, and that if I button smash like crazy, I can't get out of submissions. Pins and the actual windows, it's all very much the same as last year, but I am finding I'm needing to tweak the sliders more. I'm not dead yet. Okay, adjust your submission sliders, ladies and gentlemen, to get it a little bit easier when I am going to flick the stick. You can change the control layout if you want to change the pin mechanic. You can do that to have the rapid mini game if you want to press that way. And one of the big things when it comes to gameplay this year is going to be the addition of 4 new match types: casket match, ambulance match, special guest referee, and gauntlet match. All of these are really welcomed additions to the game. They do work in my GM, they do work in universe mode. The only one that doesn't work in GM mode is going to be the gauntlet match, but we'll talk about GM mode in just a second. Between all 4 of these new match types, again, welcome additions for all of them. I kind of rank special ref and gauntlet match as my favorites personally, because gauntlet gives me technically like 3 variations of it, plus all the custom match settings you can set up. Special guest referee is simply fun. I like how it plays. The drawback to special referee this year is that it's only 1v1 in standard matches. No Hell in a Cell, cage match, tag team matches, or anything like that. Those are things I can see them improving and adding to 2K25. But it's a minor complaint and quibble because I'm just happy that it's back and it works really well. The ability to toggle between wrestler mode and special guest referee mode, it's a lot of fun. And you can kind of tweak the settings the way you like and either go crazy and just hit guys with chairs and throw weapons this year, or you can play like a straight up referee and have a solid match. Gauntlet matches, again, are just fun. I like the variations of them. 3 different variations, and going from 4-person gauntlet matches all the way up to 30, which I really wasn't expecting this year. Casket match and ambulance match are very similar. I haven't done a lot of casket matches because it's a no DQ match and there's a casket and you throw them in and you're basically doing the submission mechanic. I don't find there to be much more than that. Would have rather had a buried alive match, but I'm not really complaining here. Having the casket match in there is awesome. I'd like to see new win animations, victory animations, maybe specific ones for Kane and Undertaker, people that are known for casket matches, because right now everyone gets the same win animation. But the match type works, and it works well. Ambulance match, same thing, a lot of fun, and I like the introductory scenes they give for casket and ambulance, with it actually showing up in the match at the beginning, and being able to jump off an ambulance and throw them in the ambulance different ways, and do it backstage. Those are all pluses. And then the other thing I'll say with gameplay and quality of life stuff, there are tweaks throughout the game that have made things better. Royal Rumble match is one of them for me. From a 10, 20, 30 man Royal Rumble match, I can have the titles on the line now once again. I can do a double title match in a Royal Rumble, and these things were missed last year and the year before, and they're small details, but they make the game more fun and they make the match types more fun. Even in a Royal Rumble now, you can choose different arenas and you get the person that's winning the Rumble match, you get the pyro going off in any stadium, which they didn't have before. And falling under gameplay, I guess, but another piece of all of this that I feel has been updated and improved is going to be audio, and specifically crowd noises. One of the things I didn't like last year and the year prior was every entrance, if you turn the music off for the entrance theme, you hear the woohoos and the go-get-ems, and it was just irritating because it would be the same jargon over and over again. That's been updated. So just the small things like that, I feel go a long way in making the presentation better and the game better. And even with the crowd itself, There's more flash photography in the crowd during matches and big moments, so it makes it feel more dynamic and it adds to the simulation experience. When it comes to modes in the game, all of the ones that were in 23 and 22, they are making a return. My Faction, Showcase Mode, Universe, My GM, the online, they're all in there. My Faction got an overhaul this year, and we've gone through some of the basics here on the channel of what you can do, but there are new additions like Faction Wars, and now we have the Persona cards being added in so players can grind and unlock actual models and be able to play them offline, which is the biggest win for My Faction if you're interested in playing that mode. I'm looking forward to seeing what they add for My Faction this year if they keep up the momentum of Persona cards, because realistically, you're going to be able to just grind out the mode, collect points, and not spend real money, and you don't have to on the in-game models. Universe mode, I feel, is where it gets a little disappointing. Universe mode doesn't have a lot of updates here. It's a lot of the same as before, and there are some negative pieces in here that I hope they address. One of them being calendar. We have PLEs running on Sundays, not Saturdays, and I wish that this would get fixed. We have all the new match types in there, which is great, and they have added a ton of new cutscene animations. On top of it, they have actually gone in and refreshed a lot of the original rivalry action cutscenes too. So even just the way the camera is placed in some of the original cutscenes, they've changed those and updated them, which is a welcome change and addition. But Universe mode at this point is feeling kind of flat, stale, and old, and it doesn't have things like promos that I know players were really hoping to get. There is no promo animation, even a cutscene, to be able to have your wrestler in a ring and someone comes and interrupts you. And I think that is one of the biggest things that would help refresh this mode that so many players play every single year and sometimes just dedicated to it. It feels exactly the same as 2K23, and I think it is one of the drawbacks this year because I like Universe mode, and I just wish that there was a little bit more depth to it. But there are improvements to Universe mode, like having the rivalry actions, being able to switch out who the opponents are going to be, and you have a little bit more control in there too. Double title matches work now. Setting up different shows is a little more fluid, and I find that it is very quick and snappy going through Universe mode. But again, lacking the depth, it feels a little disappointing. My GM is one of the bigger wins for me this year. I think that they did a really good job of overhauling the overall experience. At first glance, it seems like just My GM from 2K23, but you are getting a lot more options in there, from deciding on different contracts, trading different people, different wrestlers to the brand, adding in cash for part of the trade. A lot of the menus are refreshed too, so that it makes it more fluid and more simple to go through. But there are some drawbacks to My GM this year that I think are still holding it back just slightly. One of those being, we don't have anything beyond a fatal 4-way match. So I would really love it if they were able to add in Money in the Bank, a Royal Rumble, and really go through the whole calendar of a WWE program. It is one of the negatives here that you can't go in and just simply recreate the 12 months of PLEs and programming on WWE TV because they haven't been able to add in the extra match types. And also, you can't even do one of the new gauntlet matches in there because, again, we're only limited to 4-player matches. But we've added in ECW as one of the brands. Everything else works very well. There really are no glitches and hangups and bugs when it comes to My GM mode. And if you are somebody that likes that management control style of a game, you probably are going to have a good time with My GM and come back. There's new achievements, there's new unlockables, rewards, and you have a lot more tools at your disposal. And Showcase mode is back this year, and we're looking at the 40 years of WrestleMania mode. There's 21 matches here, and there's some pluses and minuses when it comes to Showcase this year. I do like a lot of the throwbacks we have, getting matches like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 17, and then you get into the modern matches too, which are a lot of fun. It's interspliced with the slingshot tech, which is giving you the real cutscenes involved. And I know some of the critiques and criticisms have been that, well, it's 40 years of WrestleMania, we should get 40 matches, not 21. And I think everyone's gonna have their preference for what they wish they could have seen with it. Overall, I thought it was good, but I do think that there are some drawbacks to the mode where I feel like on screen, they've changed it now and fixed it where they have the actual button presses right there for you instead of having to hit the pause menu and then look up what your next move is going to be. That's a huge plus. But one of the downsides or critiques I have for it is that they have too much text for the instructions of what you're going to do by Irish whipping into the northwest corner, putting them up on the turnbuckle, press B, and then do the move. And plus the dialogue text that they add in there for kind of where you are in the match and then you end up with like 15 objectives throughout the course of one showcase match. So for some players, it feels like it gets a little tedious that you have to do so many different things in order to complete one match. And for people that haven't finished it or haven't played it yet, Mr. McMahon is in the showcase. He's not playable, but he's in the WrestleMania 17 match. And Brock Lesnar, yes, he is in showcase, but he is not playable in the base game. For the Brock Lesnar situation, I totally understand what WWE is doing, why they don't want him featured and discussed. I totally get all of it. However, from the player's perspective, we have him in the showcase in these matches, and he is playable. If he's gonna be in the showcase and you can replay it as much as you want, why not just put him in the base game? Because then you just have him. All his movesets and motions are there. You might as well just have Brock in the game at this point if you didn't totally take him out, but it's a minor thing. The other thing I will say with Showcase that I wasn't a fan of is the grind. I would put it on hard, and then I would find myself putting it on easy a lot. Because for certain matches like Piper Bret Hart, Angle versus Eddie Guerrero, there's submissions involved, and the AI was destroying me on easy mode during the showcase, which really took the fun out of it. I don't mind a challenge, I don't mind the near falls, but for showcase, I'm putting it on easy. I think it should have been balanced a little bit better because the submissions seem to be way overpowered when it came to showcase matches.
Finally! There's one. Good Lord.
And the other little thing that I think is a bit of a mistake or kind of a head scratcher is with unlockables. With the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, you do get the accelerator with that specifically for Showcase, which unlocks all of the roster that's involved in Showcase. So all of the characters, their alternate attires, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Triple H, they're all unlocked right away when you get the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition downloaded and installed. However, the arenas are not. So they still locked arenas behind Showcase. And when I installed the game right away, it automatically downloaded the roster for the mode. So I didn't even get the chance, without uninstalling that ahead of time, I didn't get the chance to have that stuff locked, even if I wanted to just have the fun of unlocking everything along the way. So if you're somebody who just wants to complete stuff or just have all of the unlockables, that's one of the things I think they should have fixed, was that the arenas should have just been unlocked as well and not separately locked. So it didn't make much sense to me. Either keep everything locked behind Showcase and you gotta play through it, or if you're gonna offer the unlockable for it, every aspect of it for Showcase should be available to unlock. It'll be interesting to see for 2K25 if they bring Showcase mode back and what they would focus on. 40 years is kind of a big one. And I like the Corey Graves commentary, and I like the footage that they did use. There's a lot of nostalgia involved, but some of the gameplay mechanics in there do need to be polished and updated. And I can see why some players are having a little bit of a hard time or negative experience with it. The other pieces to highlight, as we are just a week into the game coming out and its full release, players are having issues online and they are having issues with the game in terms of community creations crashing on them from PC to PlayStation and Xbox. Players also reporting that there's issues with online bugs, that they're getting booted out of matches for online. So hopefully 2K will address this as we go, and hopefully they address this sooner rather than later to make sure that the experience is smooth for the players. But the biggest takeaway for me this year, when looking at years past, 2K24, I have to say, is simply fun. There's enough variety for everything I want to do in a wrestling game, from added weapons, new match types, throwing weapons, mechanics are solid, the roster is deep, a lot of legends highlighted too. I'm having a lot of fun, and I have a lot of replayability in there, and I can see myself spending more time this year with things like my GM mode and trying out my faction more to get the persona cards. There are some glitches, there are some issues right now that hopefully get ironed out, but if this is the path that 2K is taking with the franchise, with the game for maybe the next couple of years, they're heading in a very good direction, and it has me optimistic that with next year, the year after, we get things enhanced even more, where we're gonna get even more match types put in and polishing more features already in the game. So for me, I think that it's definitely worth picking up, and that goes back to our rating scale. Is this game a nah, or is it a yeah? For me, it's gonna fall under the category of yeah! But comment below your thoughts on the game so far, and click right here for more WWE 2K24 content. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.